Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
I think I'm going to call this podcast part 2 of the one I just did. So if you didn't listen to that one, it doesn't matter. You don't need to listen to it, but it'll make a lot more sense. So podcast, this is part 2. You're in the No Comfort Zone with Dan. Success and motivation in the No Comfort Zone is what I titled it, because you know what? You're in life. Hopefully you're going to fail a lot. You're going to fail big. And from that failure, you're going to take those lessons that you've learned and you're going to apply those to become a better version of yourself down the road. You know, it can happen naturally, or you can find those, meaning as you live your life, you can realize when you come across a new challenge, you can say to yourself, oh yeah, I've kind of been down this road before. I learned something from my past. This is kind of what I got. I'm going to try something new this time. 10, 20 years go by, and now you're living that new reality. Well, what I'm here to tell you is there's a gap in time from, like my last podcast, like what I said, and it was that the No Comfort Zone, how I first learned about it, sales meeting, bunch of people in the sales meeting, bunch of real exciting time for me, high energy, very successful people. And as they congratulated the winners of last month's sales contest and the big dogs, and there's the little fish in there and all this stuff. And next thing you know, the general manager ends up saying that everyone's really in their comfort zone. So in order to get everybody out of their comfort zone, he's going to be cutting their pay. And this was my first real sales meeting. I think one of my first few days on the job. And I was floored. I was like, this was amazing that this just happened. Like, are you kidding me? This really happens? And you only see it on movies and TV, right? But it really happened. So now, for whatever reason why he did that, he had a genuine reason. Me being a general manager now, I could see why somebody would do that. But my intention is to grow people into it. So grow them out of their comfort zone so that everyone can achieve more without setting them backwards. So that's where it all started. That was what the last podcast was kind of about, and to kind of give you a summary. But in moving forward with what I'm talking about today is it doesn't take a lifetime to figure that stuff out, although it did for me. See, I heard about the No Comfort Zone. Now, it's been around for years before that. He wasn't the first person to say it. That's the first time I heard it. I listened when he said it. It struck me, and it stayed with me ever since. I was 21 at the time, just been through the Marines, was at Okinawa, Japan, was in Quantico, was in Camp Del Mar, California before that. Had a great time, met a lot of great people, but one of the best times of my life, one of the hardest times of my life, but truly enjoyed every minute and every moment of it. Crazy time in my life. Now I decide to get into sales instead of going into law enforcement. Now I'm in sales. This happens. And I just remember back then not getting comfortable and just wanting to learn more. Because I said, the more you learn, the more you earn. So I wanted to learn everything I could. I found a mentor who was my manager. He taught me everything he could. I listened very well. I listened to him. Not too many other people, but I did listen to him. And I was successful because of it. And he helped me to become successful. He gave me an opportunity to be a winner. To be a champion in that organization. And to this day, I still think I was a champion in that organization. And it was called directly by Rick Hendrick. That's the Hendrick Automotive Sports. Hendrick Automotive gave me a call directly on a Saturday when I sold a whole bunch of vehicles and was getting ready to leave by 5 o'clock because I did so well. I had all my appointments organized, did everything I could. I remember going to a lot of seminars to get to this point. I remember spending my own money on audio tapes back in the day. And I ended up having a really successful day, which, by the way, that would be another podcast. One of the worst days, horrible days, driving into work, getting a ticket, spilling coffee all over my new suit, and going in and still having a banner day, and getting out by 5, getting called by the owner as a congratulatory, and that was just a great time in my life. No Comfort Zone started then. Now, go through my life, start my family, relax a little bit, drink a little too much, take things for granted too much. Then things start to happen. Things start to fall apart. Now I'm totally comfortable in my life, totally on cruise control, totally going down the river of life, just relaxing. and the tides hit, or the, what do you call it, the rapids start. The waterfall comes, submerged underwater. Not literally, I'm talking figuratively. And what ends up happening to yours truly is a couple of times in my life I've hit rock bottom. And I'm just tired of hitting rock bottom. And each time I hit rock bottom, I did my best to bounce back up. And it's in that bounce that I realized that, I'm a survivor, that I could do this. But it wasn't until I actually realized that the bottom was coming pretty fast and I got scared. So I decided at this point, instead of hitting bottom, I really decided that instead of having a heart attack, instead of stroking out, instead of going through another marital challenges, instead of living without passion, I decided to stop and pivot and start taking control in a few different areas in my life. Health, fitness was one of them, mentally, spiritually, and then financially. I just decided to grab a hold of things. I decided to get out of my comfort zone and be proactive towards the life I wanted to live. So all this time goes by, 25 years, and I realized that I got comfortable. Even though I knew the principles of it early on and I had great success with it, I decided to take the easy way most of my life and stay comfortable. Well, after all that time, I've learned something. It doesn't take 20 years to figure out how to live your life. If I knew now what I could have known then, that whole thing, 20 years ago, if I kept my investments the right way, and yes, I would have been a multimillionaire. Would have, could have, should have, would have. I was a sales trainer making phenomenal money, more money than I could possibly imagine as a sales trainer, speaking across the country and internationally. Some of it was my own material. Some of it was other people's material that I was paid to use. But the fact of the matter is I taught sales process and sales training and management training and leadership training. And I was a motivational speaker at the time. And I would inspire people with the stories that I've learned from being in sales, from traveling and dealing with my own hardships. And I was creating a name for myself until divorce, until bankruptcy, until taking time for granted, not showing up at seminars. Could you imagine that you pay to see somebody speak and the asshole that you paid to come and speak doesn't show up? Who does that? I was so far gone. I was so far from center from who I was that, I could blame alcohol, drugs, psychotropic drugs. I could blame doctors. I could blame the divorce. But in the end, I made all these decisions to get comfortable, safe, and secure. And if this resonates with you, if you just made stupid decisions along the way, if you've gotten so far from who you are, you need to go to the website, thenocomfortzone.com, thenocomfortzone.com. It's going to say right on the top, it's going to say, I think I just changed it, but the truth is you're either headed towards adversity, right in the middle of adversity, or getting out of it. And either way, you're going to need the principles that you've learned through your failures. And if you don't know, that's what I'll help you find out. Why did this happen and why did that happen? Because in August of 2017, when I decided to write down all my insignificant failures, I realized that they were much bigger or much smaller, depending on what it was, and why I was making the decisions. And it was when I had that blueprint is when things really started to change. It's when I really could have some leverage over myself. And I realized that I'm a person that gets more motivated by pain than I do pleasure. So I threw enough pain out there, realizing what would happen if I keep making these decisions. And then I went to work. And then I went to work like nobody's business. And over the course of 60 days, as I told you before, I lost about 30 pounds, put my finances back in order, got on top of my debt, got on top of my relationship, got on top of my work. And then actually after 60 days, I was ready to leave. I was ready to move on. My relationship got stronger. I ended my employment. I pursued some passions that I've always wanted to do. And I did those things, and I did it for quite some time. Now, today I'm dealing with the next part of it, which is the reality is when you change everything, you realize that you're not comfortable anymore. And yeah, it's never going to be easy. The only good day was yesterday, as they say in the Navy SEALs, which I never was part of, but it's one of their sayings. And I'll tell you this, that if you have that mentality that the only good day was yesterday and yesterday that wasn't that great and you want to make it better, I think you're going the right direction. All right. It's not going to be easier tomorrow, but you have to get prepared. And that's what the No Comfort Zone Blueprint's all about. Preparing you for success based on the life lessons that you've learned along the way. So, hey, it's my hope, my intention, as I always say, for you to realize that you are the solutions to all your problems, that you can be successful. I do believe in you. You need to believe in yourself. If you need permission to get out of your comfort zone, go to thenocomfortzone.com and figure out, are you headed towards adversity? Are you in the middle of adversity? Or did you just get out and you want to have a better life for yourself? Let's get some goals down on paper. Let's work together so that you can have a purposeful life, so you can live with some passion, so you can actually have some confidence, so you can have some, conviction. And more importantly, so when the people around you can have some certainty, you know that you're living the right way because you're doing the next right thing no matter what happens. Hey, this is Dan. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Again, this is part 2, and I really do appreciate any likes, rate, reviews, shares, comments, anything that you could do to let me know that you're listening. I greatly appreciate it. It's blowing up. I just got on, I think, 7 more platforms, and I just realized that it just went up substantially, like overnight. So I appreciate all the listeners. And you know what? Hey, listen, if you want to work with me, if you think that you're in a position in your life and you know what, you're just kind of feeling hopeless, you know what? I can help. I know I can help. I've been there myself. I've gotten myself out of the hole multiple times. And now I'm just, I don't want to say I'm in cruise control, but I have enough momentum in my life right now to realize that, man, life can be a lot better than you're having it right now. And if you're having a great life and you want to go to the next level, man, we can work on that too. That's the exciting part. That's the super exciting part. And we can all get there together. So, hey, let me tell you this. Let me say it again, over and over again. I do believe in you, but more importantly, like this. Get outside of your comfort zone so that you can live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.